Well, here we are. Hi, everybody. How are you? I am so happy to see you. I've been kind of watching the feed for the last couple of minutes, getting ready to come online and be live with you. How are you guys? The number one thing as I was sort of coming in and seeing your comments in the feed, the number one thing I was thinking to myself is, I really want to know how you are tonight. Like, how are you? Like, if we were sitting at your kitchen table right now, and that'd be nice. I just had my cup of tea and I sat down and I said, so how's it going? Like, how are you right now? What would you tell me? What would you tell me about your life? And what would you tell me about this week? And what would you tell me? So Lindsay says, not good at all, unfortunately. Good. I know. Oh, Delphine's still not feeling good, sweetheart. I'm sending lots of love and healing energy your way. Lots of love and healing energy your way. Whoa. As soon as I said that, Delphine, I put my hand up. My hand is like hot on fire. Catherine's stressed out. Michelle's in a good mood. Michelle's nervous about what's coming. Holly's got a moody daughter. You'll appreciate this. I just got a text from my son that said that his text was, the struggles are real today. That was my 10-year-old's text about 10 minutes ago. And you know what I said to him? Like, it sounds like you need cosmic comfort. It's really funny. Blessed and thankful. Leslie's students are stressing her out. So I'm just kind of noticing, has it been shitty pickles, Deanna? I'm sorry to hear that. Ooh, Carolyn says twin flames are back. I like that. Needing health improvements. Grateful to be here. Trying to overcome depression, says Allie. I hear you. Oh, congratulations. Kim finally got a job interview. It's kind of nice just to check in, isn't it? Like, I really love knowing what's happening with you. Debbie's worried about her husband. Yes, Christine says, you know, when one door opens or closes, another one opens, right? It sure does. Sometimes it takes a little while for that other door to open. So sometimes you got to sit there knocking for a minute. Moody, thank you for that. Thank you for asking, Lindsay. I'm doing well too. I've been really thinking about tonight. I'll have to tell you, if you're personal friends with me on Facebook, and even if you're not, because I turned the post to public, you can see my musings from today. It's the first time I've kind of been open about my thoughts about our current world dynamics. Hi, Athena. Athena's joining us from her hospital bed. Girl, sending that sweet love out to you too. Anybody who needs that healing energy, just sending it all to you tonight, through me to you. It's not me sending it. It comes from source, but I'm directing it to you. So I kind of put it out there today, what I think's going on. And I know I wish I had more room for friends on Facebook too. If you try to friend me and it says no, it's a shitty Facebook thing. It's not me. Facebook limits the number of friends you can have. And I'm at the limit, so I can't have any more friends. But if you ever want to friend me though, you should still send a friend request, because sometimes people leave me or they drop off Facebook or whatever, and then there's a vacancy, and then I get to go pick somebody who has sent a request. So you should always just send in a request, and then when I have space, I will I'd be happy to be friends with you on Facebook. But yeah, you can follow me and you can see my public posts, and I'm doing more and more writing because it's a helpful way. It's true, Sharon. Really, it disappeared. My poof disappeared. My post disappeared. You said poof, so I said poof. I didn't take it down, so I don't know. It should still be there. But anyway, it's just my musings on kind of my thoughts about what's happening. And so I want to share a little bit of those thoughts tonight. So this is Cosmic Comfort. I appreciate you guys so much. This is Cosmic Comfort. And so we gather every Wednesday. The concept of Cosmic Comfort might change a little bit. And I'm gonna talk to you about my thinking about that, because my own thought process is evolving. For a while, I thought, no, we just need comfort. You know what I mean? I love you guys too. For a while, I thought, no, we just need comfort because we're stressed and we're anxious, and we just need somebody to tell us everything's going to be okay. And then the more I sort of drilled down into my own thinking about what's happening in our world right now and what's happening in our country, yeah, it's the divine feminine model. What I really came to understand for myself, and again, it might make sense to you, it might not. What I really came to understand this week in a profound way, and maybe it's because I just finally was able to articulate it, is we're looking for comfort, but what we're really looking for is the feminine. We can't find the feminine right now, even in ourselves. And I will tell you, I'm glad to hear that, Taylor. Thank you for that, Tracy, by the way. It means a lot to me. I will tell you when that sort of light bulb went on for me this week, because, and I've been looking for the feminine all my life. I had a great relationship with my mom growing up, but there was always sort of a disconnect. And so I'm named after a goddess who didn't have a mother. So I've always felt kind of like, I felt like I had to figure out the feminine for myself in this lifetime, if that makes sense. I had to figure out what the feminine was and how it operated. A lot of people have really good, strong role models for that, and they feel like they absolutely know how to be a woman, how to be feminine. For me, it was a struggle coming in. I'm not a terribly feminine woman, which may sound really funny for all of my fingernails and hair and makeup and all of that. I'm actually very masculine in my own constitution. And so I have had to figure out how to integrate the feminine, how to become more the feminine, because I didn't have a lot of strong feminine role models growing up. I just didn't have them. And so if that resonates with you, I mean, and again, some of you have the best feminine role models, who, by the way, can also be men. Some now as an adult, some of the best teachers of the divine feminine in my life are actually men. So I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about divine feminine and divine masculine, which is not the same thing. Men have the divine feminine with them, and women have the divine masculine with us. And so the goal of life is to put these two things together and figure out a balance. You know what I mean? Like, who are you amidst all of that? And then when I gave birth to a daughter, it was like, well, I really better figure this shit out, because now I got to raise her, and I need to make sure that she understands what the feminine is. So if I'm still figuring it out, then we have to work together on this. Absolutely. Arturian says finding femininity after rape and abuse is a challenge. And by the way, thank you for speaking that, because a lot of us, the struggle, that hasn't been my lived experience, but for a lot of us, the struggle to find the feminine comes up around things that are really difficult to talk about and be honest about, except I think we're at a place now, and maybe you feel this way too, why not just speak to your experience? Do you know what I mean? Vulnerability is one of the hallmark characteristics of the divine feminine. One of the most beautiful things the feminine can do is make it safe for you to speak your truth, don't you think? Like, so if I'm able to create a sacred space where you feel like you can speak your truth, the way Arturian just did in that really beautiful offering here, then that is an expression of the divine feminine between me and that person, right? And I'm creating that space to be able to speak to that truth. And that is an expression of love, I think. Yeah, very much so, Nathan. I think openness is, but again, the masculine says, don't be vulnerable, don't tell people your secrets, that's the masculine, right? Because vulnerability is weakness, and you don't want to look like you're weak. And what I was writing about today is, trying to be strong has really not gotten us anywhere, if you think about it. When we're trying to be strong and putting on a mask like everything's okay, and we don't talk about what's going on, and we don't share with each other, we don't create that opportunity for other people to be vulnerable too. And so I've made a real effort in my life, honestly, since January of this year, to be much more open and vulnerable with people, whether it's about my health or about different things going on in my life. Because if I can create, I have learned that if I can create that space for you, then maybe you'll also offer it to me, and then you and I both heal, and then it expands out from the two of us. And so my main message to you tonight, and I appreciate that, Susie says, you have such thick skin. How'd you develop that? Yeah, you know how I developed it? Because some people are really mean. And what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You have to, what I have learned in life is you cannot let the core beauty of who you are be disrupted by other people's opinions. I really don't believe that other people's opinions of me are my business. I think they're their business. What matters is how I feel about myself, and the extent to which I'm living my own soul's purpose, and the extent to which I can sleep at night, and that I feel like I have integrity. And as long as I have all of that, what everybody else says kind of doesn't matter to me. But you have to get to a point where you can really feel that. And I'm now teaching my children that, because adults can be real jerks, but so can kids, right? So now I'm guiding my kids through as they get bullied and things like that, and I'm hoping, because most of my kids' friends know me pretty well, and they've grown up seeing me as Nick and Zoe's mom, and they're learning a tolerance just by being around me. And so I'm hoping that I'm automatically creating a space for dialogue just by showing up and not looking like everybody else, which can really help too. So what I want to say tonight is this. This is still cosmic comfort, but the concept of it over these coming months may shift and change. And I appreciate your feedback so much, by the way. And by the way, you do the same thing for me, right? When you guys open up and when you guys share and when you guys are able to step forward and be authentic and be open and loving and really honest, even with the stuff that you think nobody should know about, that also is an invitation back to me, because I'm you and you are me. We're just mirrors of each other. So if we can keep vibrating with that resonance of love, I think the rest of the stuff just goes away, because love always wins. You know that, right? At the end of the story, love always wins. So you can play the other games, but it's, why would you? They don't win. That's what I know for sure. So we are going to start working with the divine feminine for the next couple of weeks, okay? And I'm not sure exactly how. I'm just sort of letting myself feel into whatever that is. And then the goal of this work, if you want to stay with me and you want to keep this going, I created this for you. And so as long as it continues to serve you and you love it, we're going to have this space. My goal then, after we've kind of anchored ourselves in the divine feminine for a minute, which again is not male, female, that men have equal parts divine feminine, divine masculine. Women have equal parts divine feminine, divine masculine. We've just gone too masculine, and that I think is what is hurting us. Okay. Once we go through the divine feminine and really connect into it like a blanket, once we feel like we've pulled that blanket up and we've gotten really cozy, then I want to come back and talk about what it means to integrate with the masculine, and then what that would look like for a cosmic global leadership model. And the reason I want to do that is I honestly believe that the work we do together changes and shifts our entire planet. That's quantum mechanics. Everything that you do has an impact, right? And so anyway, does this sound good to you right now? Is this resonating? Like, as I say this, are you thinking, yeah, I want to do more of that? Because I want to make sure this is just what's happening in my mind and in my meditation, but I also want to make sure that it continues to be in deep service to you and what you're looking for. Well, here we go. Right. Yes, and I've always been surrounded by the masculine, like heavy masculine. And right now, go turn on CNN for 5 minutes, then turn it off. But if you turn on CNN for 5 minutes, I was watching the news last night and I just thought, where is the feminine? Where is it? Because the feminine shows up in images, it shows up in languages, it shows up in the way we hold conversation, it shows up in the topics of conversation. Last night, I watched an hour last night, and I think I watched half an hour this morning, and I just thought, I just want to carve out just this much feminine. You know what I mean? Just this much feminine, just that much space. But here's the reason why it's going to be a real struggle for us as a society and a culture to integrate it. If we were to put the feminine into our educational systems, we wouldn't teach our young children the way we do anymore. And I say that as a professional educator with a PhD and 20 years of experience, right? If I could change our educational system, it wouldn't look like anything you recognize today. I would get kids out of classrooms. I would have much more dynamic field learning experiences. I would be using multidimensional ways of learning and teaching. I would be catering much more to different orientations and different senses, and incorporating music and much more than happens today. If we were to incorporate the feminine into our media, the way we report on the news would be very, very different. And we would be bringing in other voices from other parts of society and culture. We wouldn't just be bringing in the same people, the same, it's like a regurgitation. And our soul is hungering to be broken out of these structures that are confining us. I literally feel like I'm confined, and I'm wanting to push and break and open. And I think a lot of us are feeling like that. It's full of fear. That's exactly right, Peg. It is absolutely full of fear. And Jazz is exactly right. There are private schools, and there are, private colleges and universities too that attend to people's needs in a different way. So it's not like this isn't happening, but on the whole, Our systems and structures are set up in a deeply patriarchal model that just does not recognize fluidity. It doesn't recognize difference. And it's fear-based. So if you don't do this, this will happen. And it's sort of the other hallmark characteristic of a patriarchal system is a bifurcation. It's the false dichotomy. It's this or that. You know what I mean? It's either sanctions or war. The patriarchal system relies on dichotomies to sort of boil things down into two options, whereas the feminine says there's 1,000 options. There's 1,000 options. Why are we looking at 2? Why are we looking at 4? Why aren't we looking at 90? And all these different options and what it could look like and who we could bring in and what kind of conversation could happen and what's good for the collective and how do we nurture each other and how do we create a system that, like all of these questions that aren't being asked right now. And I would tell you the reason these questions aren't being asked is because they would blow the flipping lid off the boxes. And so it's really funny. This morning in my meditation, I'm clairaudient, so I hear things. And this morning in my meditation, I love your comments, by the way. Christine says, Athena, I found out the Boy Scouts of America is bringing the feminine in. They're allowing girls to join. Maybe that's the start. And by the way, and I think that's probably true, although I will tell you the Boy Scouts of America is a very, from my perspective, a very feminine organization. They're inclusive. They practice, sort of collective rites of passage. They practice philanthropy. They are very holistic in the way that they work with young boys to integrate the divine feminine. And so I actually already consider them to be sort of a hallmark organization. So this morning I'm in my meditation, and you know what I heard? Literally, what I heard was, how else would we have taught you that your current systems of government are no longer valid? How else would we have taught you that? And I sat there and I thought, yeah, how else would you have taught us that? Except by showing us how flawed they are, how vacuous and how empty they are. How else would the universe have taught us? The universe teaches us by moving dynamics and people into places to show us. And sometimes what they're showing us is that things can no longer work. And so it forces us into a new paradigm. The universe only does that when we're not listening. Do you know what I mean? It's like the universe tries to get our attention and we don't listen, and tries harder and we don't listen. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so now this is what's going to happen. And all of a sudden we're all looking around and it's like, no, we should have seen this coming. And now that we're here, we have to acknowledge that we're learning. Does that make sense? So here's my perspective. Ready? This has nothing to do with politics, my friends, because it's our entire culture. Our political situation right now is a symptom of the problem. It's not the problem. If you're putting all your attention and your focus there, I think you're being, a little bit narrow in your view. I think you have to look and say, this is the entire structure right now, and it all has to fall. And I don't know exactly what that's going to require. But I will tell you that a lot of us are listening and we're paying attention and we are ready. And so here's the beauty. Are you ready? Here's the beauty of all of this. To begin to integrate the divine feminine more actively, all you need to do is think differently. Your thoughts shape your reality on every level. It's literally, your life is a choose your own adventure. And everything that you're experiencing and everything that you're sensing and everything that you're seeing is a result of your thoughts and your actions and the thoughts of the collective and the actions of the collective. And so if we want to change it, it begins with a thought. And so when people used to say to me, well, what can I do? I'm one person and I don't have any money. I can't buy the system. I can't change the system. I don't want your money. I want your thoughts. That's all I want. I just want you to think differently and hold the space with me. And if we can do that, I promise you, we will change the structures. I absolutely believe it. Okay, so I'm gonna smudge a little bit because smudge. It's very true, you guys. It starts right there. Everything you create. Sage Goddess was a thought. It was a good thought, but it was a thought. Like, hey, I think I would like to have that or create that. And now, that's what I do. It was a thought. So what are your thoughts telling you right now? Yeah, also Jade says, but working with all women can be a very negative experience too. And so let me say this. I don't think you should be working with all women because, as I said earlier, the divine feminine does not equal women. Does that make sense? It does not equal women. We need awake men. I need awake men who are holding the feminine, but can still teach me about the masculine so that I can integrate and be whole. I need awake men, and so do you. And there are so many of them that we are surrounded by them. Some of them are on this feed right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't do this work without awake men, and neither can you. And so thank you to those who are awake, and cheers. And please run for public office so I can vote for you. There's nothing sexier on the planet than an awake man. Do you agree? Followed by an awake woman. I like them both. But man, oh man, you show me an awake man, that's a sexy thing in my book. Okay. I'm anointing all day with stress relief. This is Sage Goddess stress relief. So you can have that yours too. That's the oil blend of the week for me. It's just essential oils that help support you to release stress. Okay. Yes, apparently if you're a single awake man, you should comment in the feed because there are some people who might be looking for you. It's really fun because my husband has awakened during our marriage. He's quite awake. But I don't think we would have lasted if he didn't. I mean, you know what I mean? As we grow and evolve, I couldn't be with somebody who's not woke. So he had to wake up kind of and get it together. And he did. I mean, he really has risen to the occasion. So anyway, yeah, I could be a good matchmaker for you. Look at the feed, could actually do that right now. Wakey, wakey, says Karen. So finding an awake partner is really important, whatever your orientation is and whatever your preference is, you just find an awake partner and you'll be fine. And then you'll raise awakened children if you so choose, or nieces or nephews or friends of, children of your friends. And that's how we change the planet. I love it so much. It would be really fun to see you guys kind of partner up. Wouldn't that be special? Well, and Walter, that's all good. You just need to, whatever you're looking for, may it be awake. May it be woke. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight, I want you to close your eyes and roll your shoulders back. I'm just going to quickly open a brief circle. We are going to work on encountering the divine feminine tonight in whatever form it wants to come and show itself to you this evening. We are calling in, this is one of our little rose quartz ones from the shop that I'm obsessed with. We are calling in, it's single terminated, so I'm calling in love energy from the entire universe tonight, calling it down into our circle as we gather for this beautiful meditation, anchoring love energies into the center of our circle, calling in our divine feminine guides of the planet. I do believe our planet has guides, so I'm calling in all the divine feminine planetary guides, the healing guides. I do think also that the matrix itself has guides, and so the matrix in which we all exist together, both in this third dimension reality as well as in 4D and 5D, because a lot of us are ascending and evolving and moving into these other dimensions, and we can talk about that some other time if you'd like to, but a lot of us are ascending, and so as we go from 3D to 4D to 5D and we're waking, it's really important to continue to maintain an open circle to call in the energies from all the directions to be able to harness that and hold that. So roll your shoulders back. Just release all of the tension from your body right now. Any tension in your shoulders, down the center of your back to your lower back. Releasing any tension from the root chakra through your hips. Any tension from your legs. Releasing tension from your arms. Just letting it all go. Everything out of your shoulders. Opening up your diaphragm. And so tonight we call upon the Divine Mother. That's truly the essence and the energy that we are working with when we talk about the Divine Feminine. We are calling upon the Divine Mother this evening to come and be present with us. And what does it mean to work with the Divine Mother? What does that mean? Civilization began as a matriarchy. Women ruled. And part of the reason why I think our original civilizations, I come from one of those civilizations, I'm Minoan on my father's side. And so the Minoan civilization is deeply matriarchal. And I think that part of the reason why civilization in its early stages was largely matriarchal is that civilization was built on a collective, on a community, on a model in which the highest good of all beings was privileged. Not the highest good for you, and not the highest good for me, and what you can get and what I can get, but the highest good of all beings. And so tonight, Great Mother, we come before you. I am coming before you. Do you feel the energy, you guys? It's all the way through. Oof. I mean, the energy is just flowing, flowing, flowing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tonight we're calling upon the Great Mother herself. We come before you as your children. We come before you to ask for your mercy, to ask for your care. We come before you to ask you to put your loving arms around us and to nourish us, mind, body, and soul. We come before you to ask you to show us the way to compassion and to mercy. Show us the way to loving each other. Show us the way to be able to hold the space together and to be anchors together, to hold tight and fast to truth and to wisdom, to be able to create systems and structures that will benefit everyone, that serve everyone. Because Great Mother, we know that each of us, each one of your children, each of us knows how important we are to you. We are the breath of your breath. We are the blood of your blood. And so, Great Mother, we ask tonight that you wrap your arms around us, all of us, our families, our friends, our children. Even our children are anxious and scared. Wrap your arms around us tonight. Bless us, keep us, protect us. And from there, Great Mother, once you've wrapped us all in that beautiful blanket of your love, that beautiful shawl of your protection, I ask that you wrap our political structures in that blanket of protection. Help to calm and soothe and ease the dialogues that are happening. I ask that you wrap that blanket of safety and protection around the entire planet for us tonight. And when you see, Great Mother, moments of anger, moments of strife, moments of chaos, moments of challenge, moments of confusion, please bring clarity and light and love to those spaces. We know that the universe is a duality, and we honor and recognize and appreciate that fact, and yet the pendulum has swung too far. And when that happens, we have to create balance. And so we need your help tonight, Great Mother. Bring us back. Bring us back. Remind us what fluidity looks like. Remind us what freedom looks like. Teach us that we don't have to be stuck. Teach us that we can move and flow and create. Teach us that it's okay to be soft and it's okay to be quiet. Teach us that it's okay to put our arms around each other. Have you noticed since we've, become more patriarchal in our orientation, have you noticed that people don't hug each other? They don't wrap their arms around each other. We're afraid to touch people, and yet we all know as energy workers and many of us body workers that touch, that the best way I can heal you is to touch you, to put my hands on your body. Even when I just put my hand up to the screen and send you that energy, when you put your hand up there, you feel it. And yet we're afraid. We're even afraid to do that for each other. Why are we afraid? And think about your mother with you when you're a child, right? Like, this is how I think of the Great Mother, right? When you have a child, if you're a mother, you understand this. Your kid can get sick and throw up on you. Your kid can be up all night. Your kid can yell and scream at you. Your kid can call you names. And what do you do as a mother? You love them harder. You wrap your arms around them tighter. Maybe, Erin, I think part of it is we've become so litigious in our society that when you touch people, you have to worry, are they going to take it the wrong way kind of thing. I mean, we have lost even our ability to create authentic intimacy with each other, where everything has become sexualized. A touch becomes sexualized. That's patriarchal. That's not matriarchal. It truly is not. That is an exaggeration. Truly, truly, truly. And so in my own life, what I'm doing is I'm hugging the people in my life now. I still ask, is it okay? Can I hug you? You know what I mean? And I love it when people just come up to me and hug. It's like, and don't ask permission. We need to be close to each other and not be afraid of that. In this era where we're afraid of everything, we need to love and touch and hold and hug and hold hands. Hold hands. Great Mother, teach us the ways, remind us, bring us back to what matters and what's true, to love and connection. Teach us how to have an open heart. The women I admire most, and I bet you feel this way too, the women I admire most are so gracious and loving and gentle. And they anchor themselves right there. I've had conversations with so many of you in the last couple of weeks about this, because I really find myself wanting to model myself after the most loving, gracious, kind people in my life. Because when I watch them, they are the happiest. Those are also the happy people. The people who are closed off and like this and don't want to touch and don't want to hug are not happy folks. And it's not just touch, it's a complete openness. I mean, even watching your posture. I mean, the way I'm sitting right now, I'm open, I'm receptive, I'm not hunched over. So many of us have back pain because we're spending all of our time like hunched over like this. Open your shoulders, sit up straight. You know, allow your diaphragm to expand. Breathe deeply, the inhale and the exhale. Just by your very posture, that is the divine feminine. Just by being open, just by opening your arms. Watch yourself during the day. How many times do you have your palms open versus, you know, how many times do you just have your palms open? My husband makes fun of me because I'm constantly sort of, you know, doing my handwork, but this is feminine too. This is opening and it's being receptive, you know, and even watching your posture and your movements and just allowing all of that. It's so beautiful. Yeah, when you come here, you need to give me a big old hug and I will hug you right back. It's true. Rana says, you know, they could be introverts, and that's true. And that's why I don't run up to people and just hug them, because I respect people's boundaries. But I am telling you, I think it's more than that, because I think even people who are introverted sometimes want more, but are afraid to ask for it. And that's probably because they've experienced rejection. And for an introvert, rejection is more difficult than it is, I think, for anyone. My family is full of introverts, so I have some level of experience here. I'm not introverted, even though I'm an INFJ with the Myers-Briggs. So I'm a little bit introverted, but I still think that the introverts have been rejected. And that leads to a deepening of their introversion. So don't reject, open and receive. And even if your heart's been broken, and even if you've suffered abuse, which most of us have, it's at one point in our life, my mantra is open anyway. Even if someone's a jerk to you, you know what? You have two options. You can close or you can open. Open anyway. Even if you've lost love, and we all have, you have two options. You can close or you can open. Open anyway. The Great Mother will always tell you, look at all these INFJs and INFPs. I look forward to that, Kitty. I do. I look forward to that. Love anyway. Open anyway. That's what a mother does with her children. And that's what the Divine Mother does for you. Even if you deny that you have any faith in the world, and even if you close yourself off, and even if you say, I'm not going to do that, I won't forgive, I can't, even if you say all that, the Divine Mother still comes to you and says, I'm your mother, right? I have open arms for you. Do it anyway. There's another Athena who's an INFJ. High five. Talk about soul sister. That's pretty cool. Yes. Okay. So Great Mother, my ask for you tonight, my request of you tonight, Great Mother, is that you will hold all of us this week, that you will keep us strong and steady. I ask tonight, Great Mother, that you wrap your arms around every single person whose families were affected by the tragedy in Las Vegas. Moved me in so many ways for so many reasons. I'm just holding all of those people and their families. I ask, Great Mother, that you touch and hold and nourish every person affected by the wildfires in California this week, all the way up to Napa, Santa Rosa. I had friends in Petaluma who were afraid. I mean, even in San Francisco, all the way through San Mateo, everyone who was affected. And then all the way down here below Los Angeles to Orange County, inland and coastal, just everyone who was affected by the California fires this week. Great Mother, we ask that you wrap your arms around them, soothe and ease those fires, help to bring your watery feminine flow back to us, to quench the earth. We give thanks for your presence. And so what I shared with my writing, and I'll leave you with this tonight. If you think about peace, peace will manifest. The manifestation in your life is a direct outcome of your thoughts. If you think about peace, you will manifest peace. If you think about love, you will manifest love. If you think about healing, you will manifest healing. I am being absolutely sincere with you when I tell you this is how I live my life. I do believe what you think about expands. What you give your attention to unfolds. And it works the other way too. You know what I mean? If you're constantly focused on disease or disaster of some kind, what happens, you know? And so choose in every moment this week where you're putting your attention. Are you putting your attention on love? Are you putting your attention on truth? Absolutely, Angie. I went to UC Irvine and I lived in Orange County. I was actually born just outside of Orange County. And so OC is very familiar to me, and I was devastated to see friends and family being evacuated. So that hit close to home this week. Oh, hi, Deborah. Deborah's in England tonight. So fantastic. Good Lord, Deborah. What time is it? It's 8 hours ahead of us in LA, UK time. So, but my math isn't so great. It's just late. Let's put it that way. It's late where Deborah is. So can you just comment? Hi, Lori in Orange County too. How funny, Carmen went to UC Irvine. It's a small world. I graduated in '96 from UC Irvine. It's a really good question, Taylor, one that I can answer, because she said, how does one stay positive when you're in physical pain? There's nothing harder. Having lived with physical pain, I'm not in physical pain right now, but having lived through it for a very long time. Hi, Linda Lewis. My family owned a restaurant in Dana Point called Mario's by the Sea for a long time. You probably even have been to my family's restaurant. Okay, look at this. 2 a.m. UK, 1:36 in Wales, 3:30 a.m. where Aruba Abdallah is coming from. Beautiful, you guys. So beautiful. Okay. Physical pain makes it very difficult to, I mean, if I'm being really honest, physical pain makes it very difficult to stay on a spiritual path, because it's so hard for you to ignore what's happening in your body to be able to focus on your meditation or focus on your spiritual practice. The one thing I really want to tell you is all of the work that I've been doing in my classes around holographic thinking, I really do believe, because it's one of the things I use when I'm in an MS attack, for example, is that you really can use holographic thinking to shift your experience of your health. And it's too much for us to go into tonight, but if you guys ever wanted me to talk about holograms in the context of what we're talking about here, which is the divine feminine and healing, I would be happy to do that. But it's one of the little tricks of the trade that I use when I'm in severe pain to be able to refocus on my spiritual work, because pain is your body's way of communicating with you, and sometimes it communicates too loudly, and you have to, you know, in my experience, work with the energy to be able to transform and shift your experience. We actually talk a lot in my classes about things like this. We talk about DNA harvesting, because I actually believe in the ancient times, in Lemurian and Atlantean times, that we actually had multiple strands of DNA that we could harvest to heal ourselves. Might sound crazy, but I believe it's true. And so we talk about, to what extent can we do that now? You know what I mean? To what extent can we manifest a holographic version of ourselves and then pull from the codes, the healthy self, the healthier version of yourself, to pull from those codes or to harvest from that DNA in order to repair your own DNA and pull those healing codes through. It's very powerful. And then, of course, there's mundane cures like CBD, but I like to do the energy work piece. So that's where my interest goes. Yeah, one day we'll talk about that. It's a very interesting subject. It might sound a little out there, but once you start to play with it, it's actually very real. It's quantum healing is what it is. It's imagining that there are other versions of you. There are other holographic versions of you before your disease was diagnosed, after you get healed. Those versions of you exist in other dimensions. And so it's about going and accessing those other versions of yourself to pull those energies into present time. Does that make sense? It's both complicated and really, really simple at the same time. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So we'll talk about it. We will talk about that another time. Yeah, and you know what? Healing is a quantum experience. I absolutely believe that with all my heart. I believe that almost anything can be healed, and that most of it is energetic and a conscious choice. Because what happened in my family, I will tell you just as a lineage, is, and this may sound kind of crazy too, but in my family, there have been lots of people for whom illness was a crutch. It got them pity. It got them out of difficult circumstances. It became an excuse not to live their soul's path and purpose. And so for a lot of people in my family, they didn't want healing because then they would actually have to step up and start living their life. And so there were many generations where my family was very attached to their illnesses and their diseases because they like to talk about it. They like to get the and some of them were quite honest about that. It's like, what would I do if I wasn't sick? I like to go to the doctor. I mean, I love my doctor, right? And so one of the things is you have to make a conscious choice that you are ready to receive wellness. And so, that it may seem crazy to you, but because I've lived it in my own family, I can tell you this is a very real phenomenon. And it makes me sad. But you can change it. It's really funny. When I was first diagnosed with MS, I went to the hospital for my first infusion. This was almost 10 years ago now. And the woman seated next to me said, I've told you the story before. She said, you must be, sad, but also kind of relieved. And I said, why would I be relieved? And she said, oh, you don't have to work now. As soon as I got MS, I quit my job and I just said, I can't work anymore. And I have been able to stay home and relax and do my hobbies. And I literally remember looking at her like she had two heads. I was just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I looked at her and I said, I help support my family with my job, and I actually hold our insurance with my job. And so I don't have that luxury. I have to work. And so I appreciate your perspective, but I don't have a choice. And I think I probably changed her life when I told her that. She was like, oh, if you have to, that's okay, honey. But I'm just saying, if you don't have to, now you kind of have an excuse. And I thought, wow, I mean, talk about different perspectives. I'm sitting here going, I want to get well so that I can live my life and fulfill my purpose. And she's looking and saying, we're all good, kind of thing. So people have very different perspectives about healing and wellness. And the world is full of surprising people sometimes. Isn't that interesting? Well, she was being honest, and I think she thought she was cheering me up maybe. But at the time I was like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. You choose. That's my other mantra for you. You choose. Do you want to experience peace or do you want to experience conflict? Do you want to experience wellness or do you want to experience illness? And I think you have to consciously choose it at every, Julie says, that's an impressive level of honesty. It was one of those moments where I was like, because I'm not good at hiding, this, I don't have a poker face. So I literally was looking at her like, are you okay? Yeah, David, I did the same thing. I mean, but again, that's an assumption, right? Like maybe for her job was awful and she hated it. Whereas I'm sort of like, God, I love all the things that I do. I would be really sad if I couldn't do what I do. So anyway, I have to watch it sometimes. Perspective is everything, and you choose. In this life, you choose. In every moment, you're choosing. And so make a different choice. If you don't like where you are, make a different choice. And that's my mantra with my kids even too. When they'll say, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I don't like my class this year, or I don't like, it's just like, okay, then make a different choice. I mean, like you can't choose a different class, but you can choose to have a different experience of your reality. And so how are you going to make a different choice today? And what will that look like for you? Yeah, Angelique says, fire signs have no poker face. It's true. Yeah, I mean, it's very true. I might actually start. We're talking about doing more with the MS Society because one of my big passion areas, and we'll close our time together. But it's been kind of fun to chit chat with you a little bit tonight, just in the service of this concept. One of my focus areas is I really want to create a space in the world, and I don't quite know how to do it yet, but for people who get really scary diagnoses. Because I remember when I was diagnosed with MS, it was terrifying. And when you start looking online, it's all bad news, right? Like there aren't really a lot of uplifting sites for different things. And so one of my goals in life at some point is to create like an oasis for people who have gotten sort of earth-shattering health news, and to be able to wrap arms around them and say, do not believe that everything is going to fall apart. You choose. You choose. It may look like this, but you choose that, and you just keep going because this is your life and it's a choice. And I think your mindset is so much a part of the evolution of disease, don't you? I mean, I think it really, in a way, really truly is up to you. Yeah. Kathy says, oh yeah, I've been told I could go on disability. The doctor thought I was crazy. You guys. Really, really good. Yeah, you got to keep going. I mean, I really, really believe it. I really do. So you got to hold that faith. And then I'm really glad this resonated with you tonight, you guys. How amazing. Jackie says that she was the author for Resolution. Wow, look at that. What a small, beautiful world. That's very cool at LAUSD for MS. Well, it's nice to meet you, Jackie. You're nice to connect with you around that. That's very powerful. I appreciate you sharing that. So beautiful, you guys. Okay, so Divine Mother, we've asked for your protection this week. We've asked for your peace and your comfort. We've asked you to bless and protect all of those who are struggling wherever they are. Please send your love and protection to every single person on this thread. Every single person who's joining live now, every single person who will watch later. I really want you to feel uplifted tonight. I want you to feel full of hope and possibility. So Great Mother, infuse us tonight with this just overwhelming sense that yes, everything will be okay and we are safe and held and protected, and that we can rest in that knowledge, that we can rest in that protection, that we can rest in that embrace, the way a small child would rest in their mother's arms and completely let go of any fear and anxiety. That's how we want to be with you tonight. That's how we want to be with you tonight, Great Mother. Man, do you feel that? That energy is surging again. Oof. It's so good. And I'm so thankful for each of you for being here and holding this space with me tonight. I love you for it. I truly do. We're going to shift the paradigm on our planet, you guys, one thought at a time. And I really do believe it's still possible. I have all the hope in the world. I really do. This is a difficult time and it's a scary time, but I have to say, I don't know that I've ever felt more optimistic about what's possible, because it's been a huge invitation for us to reorient ourselves in every way, to our spiritual practice, to our relationships with each other. I mean, look at this, how we're able to connect with each other authentically, real deal. We've talked about some really serious stuff tonight, and yet we're leaving the conversation saying, I hope we're leaving the conversation saying, it's going to be okay. And I know that I can do something. So tonight, your action plan is that you are going to wake up and you are going to think thoughts of peace that will transform into the manifestation of peace. You're going to think love and create love. You're going to think healing and create healing. You're going to think collective healing and you're going to create collective healing. Anybody else want to comment in the feed? What are you going to think and create tonight for you? Like, what is it for you? I know what I'm doing, but what are you doing? Oh, absolutely. Emma's in, it's 1:50 p.m. in New Zealand. Thank you for being there, Emma, in the middle of your day in New Zealand. How beautiful. Are you guys really realizing like how global just this circle is tonight? How many different countries checked in? We've got Wales in the UK, and we've got, literally all over the world, all different time zones. Think healing, Allie. I love it. Kim is focusing on peace and love. Copper's sending love, enlightenment, peace to the planet. And that's exactly, that's all that energy that we're sending down into the very core of our planet tonight. Peace, love, healing. Teresa says she's going to create dinner. I will be right over. What you having for dinner, Teresa? Peace, love, and light, hope and faith, health and a healthier job. I love it. Happiness, financial blessings, beautiful, soft pink light, positivity, unity. So good. Rain. I love that too. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, let's call in the rain. Let's call in the water energy. So much of that. Calm, forgiveness, harmony. That's right. Walter says, be the very embodiment of love. Be that. Be that. And thank you for being that for me too. So I released the beautiful guides that have come to surround us in this circle tonight. I know we went a little bit over time, but we had stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm releasing the beautiful planetary guides, guides of the divine feminine who hold us and keep us safe. Releasing you from your service to the circle tonight. So grateful for the blessing of love, the connection between us, our ability to see each other and hold each other and love each other so powerfully tonight. I am that I am. That's right. I have a beautiful Om carving in my home, and it says, "Be still and know." And that's one of my favorite affirmations from the Christian Bible. Be still and know. The full quote is, "Be still and know that I am God." But tonight, just be still and know. And if you can be still and know, the fear slips away, you know? The fear that whatever you're watching, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, just be mindful of your thoughts, because your thoughts manifest. And then anytime you find yourself thinking fearful thoughts or thinking anxious thoughts, bring it right back to center. What would center look like? Center looks like calmness and stillness and ease and peace and gratitude. And it doesn't have to be joy and happiness all the time. And we're human. We're not going to be in that space all the time, but it can be a calm, centered knowing. And that will help. Norma's saying, the fear gets her at 3 a.m. The fear gets all of us at 3 a.m. Have you ever stopped to think? I mean, for a lot of us, Facebook becomes this lifeline at 3 a.m. because there's people online that will see you. Sometimes I'm very grateful for Facebook for that reason, because it connects a lot of us, and especially for a lot of people who don't have a community around them, it becomes this lifeline. And so anyway, at 3 a.m., just know that even then you're not alone. If you wake up in the middle of the night, let's make an agreement. You ready? Before you go to sleep, until we see each other again next Wednesday, you ready? Before you go to sleep at night, would you please just imagine sending a heart full of love to everybody who's here tonight? I will do the same thing to all of you. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel anxious or fearful, just imagine all of us surrounding you and sending all that beautiful love back to you. And if I wake up in the middle of the night, I will send it all your way. And we'll just create this beautiful energetic connection with each other to tie us together for the days that we don't see each other. Until next Wednesday. Does that sound good? It's a beautiful way to keep us together. I love that. 3 a.m. cuddle pile. Angelique said it. Because if we could, we would. And so energetically, I think we can have a really fun, energetic cuddle pile. It sounds like a plan to me. I will look forward to that. I'm not a big sleeper. I tend to be awake in the middle of the night because I hear things and see things. And so anyway, I'll be sending all of that your way. Thanks, you guys. With so much love from my heart to yours, may the Great Mother bless you. May she bring you back, whatever your gender or sex or orientation or preference. The Divine Mother is your mother, and you are half her. And so the more you acknowledge that femininity, and here's the other thing, in your life, start being more open. Start being more open with people. Be more honest. Be more forthcoming. Hug. Ask first. You might be dealing with somebody who doesn't like hugs, but ask and hug and love and touch and share information about your life and ask people questions about their life and become a safe space for the people around you. I promise you, if you open, others will open to you, and your life will be much fuller as a result. And if and when you get hurt, remember, love anyway. Because what's the alternative? To shut down? That's not what you're here for, and that's not what you're meant to feel. It's really true. All right, everybody. So much love from my heart to yours, sending all that beautiful healing out to you. I hope that the rest of your week is blessed. If you are in Arrow Magic, I get to spend a whole hour with you tomorrow night. I'm very much looking forward to that, so I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for being here. And to all of the sweet lovelies, Athena, who has not been feeling well, Dauphine, who's not been feeling well, just wrapping arms around you tonight. Lindsay, it's her first class tomorrow night. How fun is that? Looking forward to it. Taylor's first Arrow Magic class too. If you love aromatherapy, you should come join us tomorrow night. We have a lot of fun things to talk about there. But otherwise, I will see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, be well, you guys, and be good to each other too. Love you.